Hey everyone, ready to dive into something really interesting? We're going to be talking about AI and jobs today. I was looking over some research you sent, and wow, it's not what I expected,
Yeah, it really gets you thinking about some of the assumptions we have.
for sure. This paper, The Impact of Artificial Intelligence on Employment, the Role of Virtual Agglomeration, it really caught my eye. They took a look at China from 2006 to 2020. And well, that's when they saw this huge boom in both AI and their workforce.
That's what makes it so interesting, right? Such a unique situation.
Totally. So the big question everyone's asking is, did all those robots in factories, did they lead to massive job losses? Like, is that what happened?
Honestly, that's what I thought too.
Yeah.
But the paper found the exact opposite. More robots, they actually found, meant more jobs overall.
Whoa, wait. Seriously? More robots equals more jobs. Okay, I need some help understanding this.
It does kind of go against what you'd think, right? The paper really digs into the how and why, though, and finds three main things happening.
All right, so what's the first one? How does this even work?
Well, the first thing is productivity. So think about it. Businesses start using AI like industrial robots, and they can suddenly produce way more, faster, and often even better quality, too. So
Yeah.
everything's more efficient. And that kind of sets off a chain reaction, if you will.
Yeah, okay, so if businesses are more efficient, they can grow and expand, hire more people instead of letting them go.
Exactly. And that leads to the second thing, what they call capital deepening. Companies invest in AI, sure, but they usually then invest in other new tech and upgrades, too. It's like a whole modernization thing.
So it's not just robots, but like this whole environment of innovation that pops up around them.
You got it. And all this new stuff needs new skills, new specialization, so naturally, new jobs get created.
Makes sense. But what about their third point? They call it division of labor refinement. Sounds a little jargony.
Oh, it's actually pretty straightforward. Imagine this. AI takes over all the boring, repetitive tasks, right? What's left? Well, you and me doing more spiralized, more, I guess, higher value work. That's what's left.
So instead of jobs just being created or destroyed, it's more like they're changing, transforming.
Yeah, you could say that. What this research suggests is that AI, at least in China during this time, it's not really here to take our jobs, but it is going to change what kind of jobs we do.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So if these jobs are transforming, did anyone adapt especially well? Any particular groups that saw a bigger benefit than others during this whole thing?
That's a great question, and the study actually points to a pretty interesting answer, which is women.
Really?
Yeah.
Women? That's unexpected. How come?
There are a couple of theories they bring up. One is that as AI takes over those physically demanding jobs, that could really disproportionately benefit women.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I wonder if it also has something to do with the kinds of skills you need in a more, I guess, AI-driven world. Stuff like communication, working together, solving problems creatively, all that skills that, a lot of women are already really great at.
Exactly. You hit the nail on the head. It really makes you think about all those human capabilities that AI could actually, complement instead of just replacing. But there's another piece to this paper that's really interesting that we haven't even touched on. They call it virtual agglomeration.
Oh, right, that. Sounds like something straight out of Star Trek. What is that exactly?
Okay, imagine Silicon Valley, right? Businesses all clustering together. But now, imagine that in the digital world. That's basically what virtual agglomeration is.
Okay, so instead of everyone being in the same office or even the same city, businesses can connect, share ideas, find talent all online, like a global Silicon Valley.
You got it. And the really fascinating part is this isn't some far-off thing. This is happening right now. Think about how much remote work has taken off and all those online platforms for freelancers. And it's all virtual agglomeration in action.
So we're kind of already living in this world, this virtual agglomeration thing, even if we don't think about it that way. It's like instead of flying cars, we got virtual offices and AI coworkers. Crazy.
It really is. And this paper, it points out how this virtual agglomeration thing actually makes those three things we talked about, those mechanisms, work even better. Like take productivity, for example. If companies can connect with the best people and ideas no matter where they are, that's going to boost their productivity even more.
Right. It's like the talent pool isn't just whoever's nearby anymore. It's global.
Exactly. And that leads to more investment, too, capital deepening. Because even small companies can get their hands on the latest AI stuff through these platforms and stuff. Everyone's on a more even playing field. So more innovation because of that.
It's like this chain reaction, like you said.
Hmm.
More connections lead to more investment, more innovation, and then in the end, even more jobs. But, you know, going back to women for a sec, do you think this virtual agglomeration thing plays a role there too? With them having more jobs, I mean.
Oh, that's really interesting. You might be onto something there. Think about it. If you don't have to be in a specific place for work anymore, that removes a big barrier for women.
You mean like having to stay close to home for family or whatever?
Yeah, exactly. Virtual agglomeration makes those limitations way less important. Women can take any job, no matter where it is, basically. So that could be a big factor in why they saw that increase in female employment in the study.
This is so interesting. It's like we hear all this stuff about robots taking our jobs, but this is painting a totally different picture. It's more about AI changing how we work, where we work, and even who's working.
And that's a key takeaway from this research for sure. We can't get caught up in those simple stories. AI and jobs, it's complicated, but gotta remember, this is just one study, one time period, one country.
True, you can't just assume it's all going to play out the same everywhere, but it gives us a lot to think about, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. So many questions. How's this going to look in different industries? What about different countries? And AI is changing so fast. Who knows what's next, right?
See, that's what's so fascinating about this whole topic. It's like just when you think you're getting a handle on things, AI goes and changes the game again.
You said it. So you got to stay curious, Be ready to change your mind when new info comes along.
Well, this paper definitely challenged some of my assumptions, I have to admit. Came into this deep dive a little, I don't know, nervous, maybe. But now I'm feeling kind of hopeful, actually. Maybe AI can do a lot of good, create opportunities, if we do it right.
I'm with you on that. It's all about perspective. We can be scared of what we don't know, or we can be like, okay, what can we learn,
Right.
And be ready to adapt.
Love that. And speaking of adapting, it's time to adapt to the end of this part of our deep dive.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we'll be back in a sec to talk more about this.
Yeah, that's the big question, right? What skills are we going to need in the future? Like you said, AI is changing so fast. It's like trying to predict the future,
It really is. But this research, it gives us some clues at least. If AI is doing more of the routine stuff, that means us humans, we get to focus on the more specialized things, which means, those skills are going to be even more important.
Right, like creativity or being able to think critically, problem solve, that kind of stuff. The stuff that's hard to, program into a machine.
You got it.
Yeah.
Those are what's going to set us apart. It's not just about, like, everyone becoming a coder. It's about learning how to think in ways AI just can't. So instead of trying to beat them, we got to join them, right?
Right.
Focus on what makes us human, like you said. Our creativity, our critical thinking, all that.
Exactly. And being open to learning new things, always being curious, ready to adapt. Because one thing's for sure, the future's going to have some surprises for us.
Well, this whole deep dive has been full of surprises. I got to say, I was a little freaked out about this whole AI thing at first, but now, I don't know, I'm feeling pretty good about it. Like, maybe if we do it right, it can really be a good thing, create new opportunities, make things better.
I'm right there with you. It all comes down to how we look at it, We can either be scared of what we don't know, or we can be like, all right, let's learn something new.
I like that. Well, on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive. We've covered a lot of ground today, but for anyone who wants to dig a little deeper, be sure to check out the full research paper. We'll link it in the show notes.
Definitely worth a read. And keep in mind, this is really just the start of the conversation. AI is always changing, so our understanding of it has to change too. So yeah, stay curious, keep asking questions, and don't be afraid to change your mind when you learn something new.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive, and until next time, keep those brains engaged.